food insecurity issue that has been highlighted over the last couple years. In particular, for example, I've piloted the pantry program, which now lives in the lounge. And then, in addition to all of that, or I guess separately from all of that, having been part of the GSC for the last 2 years, in 2 different positions, actually, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that I bring to this position that I can bring to this position to ensure that not just my efforts, but just all the efforts of the GSC continue to be effective. So that's my spiel. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions in the room? It's managed democracy. What do you want? Any questions in the room or online? Please ask them now. Yeah, and then can we just double check that someone could step up for this as well? Pavani Narella, are you here? Pavani Narella, are you here online or in person? Interesting night. If that's the case, Abdullah, please turn off your camera, mute and everything, and I'll send you a text if we jump with it. Okay, everyone in the room to return Abdullah as chair of Student Life. Yeah, line. Everyone should be voting all the time. We're getting different. Anyone against Abdullah? I mean, I paid for that fight. I paid for it. Anyone abstaining? Abdullah is returned. Right, we're moving on now to the welcome Abdullah. Abdullah, you can now leave. He is at the conference in DC. So
Thanks, Phil.
So the next position that we're going to be running for is the chair of nominations. Is there anybody in the room who would like to put themselves forward for chair of nominations? Is there anybody online who would like to put themselves forward for the chair of? Ooh. Are you running? If that's the case, is there anybody else online who would like to run for the position of nominations? Hannah, if you could unmute yourself and put your camera on.
Sorry, that was a mistake. My hand never lowered. Sorry.
So at the moment, they still go unfilled, but we'll go through the rest. Remember that noms is one of the most important positions on the executive. It fills all internal communities.
All right, to be very clear about this, I am not running again. I am stepping down. The position is open for anyone who would like to take it. I would like to implore everybody in the room and online to think about whether this might be a position you would be interested in, because what I do is very essential for graduate representation at the university. I would love to continue. It's just not feasible for me at this stage. But it is very important to me that this position remains filled and remains operational moving forward. Thank you.
So a bit more about this position. This is the position that fills out the COVID extension committees. It fills all committees within the university about space, about money, about finance, about representation, CAT. Everything gets filtered through NOMS. It's not just this 10-people person, but it's NOMS who sits there and finds and sources people for over 50 committees each semester. It is a very important role. So in the moment, we're going to move on to the next one, which is international. However, we'll return back to norms at the end of both, in which if anybody who is interested in working with the exec would like to take over noms, it's a very good idea to run with it, okay? So the next one we have is Chair of International Advocacy. Cyan is stepping down. And we have 2 people signed up online. Bhavani Narella, who is not here. And the second one being Muskan Patel. Muskan, would you like to, is there anybody online or in the room who would like to run for international? We'll go first and then we'll have the vote. Introduce yourself, which department you're in, etc., etc. And then we'll get, once we've gone to the second talk as well, we'll go to hustings as well.
Hello, my name is Muskan Patel. I am currently a master's in computer science student here at Brown, and I'm contestant for the chair of international advocacy. So, as an international student myself, who just moved here in August, I have known what problems and issues an international student faces, and how important it is to make an international student feel welcome and comfortable here at Brown, and how even like small events or get-togethers can make people feel safe and happy here. And at Brown, I'm also the professional graduate development coordinator, and I work with the School of Professional Studies. And in the 3 months that I have been here, I have tried my best to help as many master's students as possible, be it as my position as the career development coordinator or generally otherwise. And like before coming here as well, I try to make a community of all the Indian people joining Brown University. And I was successful in making like a small WhatsApp group of 30 people who were joining Brown, and just so that they can feel welcome and comfortable here as soon as they come here. And I think being a master's student myself, I'll be able to help other international students as well, so that they don't face any issues. And I've also helped Cheyenne organize a few international mixers in the 3 months that I've been here. And I think that's probably it. And I'll be happy to help anyone with any issues, even as the GSC computer science. Thank you.
Fantastic. Excellent. And we have our second person, introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Ramita Fariha. I'm a third year PhD candidate in the biomedical program. To those of you who don't know, I actually did my master's here at Brown. And during my last 4 years here, I have served in different international advocacy groups, including working closely with Venetia, the International Advisory Board, working closely with Sophie as a grad assistant for the international orientation, as well as serving as an international community fellow for the graduate school and serving as the first grad coordinator for Global Brown Center for International Students. For me, representing international students at Brown has been my first identity since I stepped foot on campus, whether it was identifying issues that are pressing master students or PhD students. It's basically international students at large, whether it was bringing up our issues to the corporation during the annual meetings, whether it was working closely with Provost Patel now and Dean Paloma. So I think I understand how Brown works. I think I can contribute a lot to the community with the position of an international advocacy chair. And I think with the examples that Sophie and Venetia have led on, I think I'll try to live up to what they have said the expectations for this position.
Are there any questions for either candidate in the room or online? Do it, come on. Okay, if that's the case, can both candidates go, please? Phoenix will escort you out. Okay, we're going to go over who spoke first. So if you are voting for Muskan, please put your hand up in the air now for Muskan, online as well. If you're voting for Ramisa, please put your hand in the air now. If you're voting against Muskan, please put your hand down. If you're voting against Ramisa, put your hand in the air now. And if you're abstaining from the vote, General. Okay, so Ramisa has won the vote as the International Advocate Chair for the GSE.
Can you announce again?
Ramisa has won. Well done, well done. And the next one we go on to is Chair of Masters Advocacy. Chairs of Master Advocacy, we have got Bhavani Narella. Have you turned up to this meeting? Online or in person? This is an excellent troll. Is there anybody in the room who would like to run for Chair of Masters Advocacy? Is there anybody online who would like to run for Chair of Masters Advocacy? No, okay, so it goes to Raymond Che, who is looking to return their position.
I am the incumbent chair of Masters Advocacy, and over this last fall semester, I've thrown a few different social events. This is the first time we had like big welcome back socials for master's students, like right at the beginning of the year. It was at PUD Beer Garden. And then I had a pumpkin painting social in October, and then a small little keyboard game night just last month. And then next semester, if I'm reelected, I would like to, as some people have mentioned here earlier, not just do the traditional type of events, but also include more non-alcoholic / family-friendly programming. And then some of the advocacy points that I've been working on this semester and will hope to continue next semester. For one, food insecurity from a master's perspective, and then also for grad student parents. And I'll talk a little bit more about everything in a little bit, but there's one of the things I did was get a question on the master's student experience survey specifically about grad student parents, because we don't have much data about it. And then one of the other things I'm doing next semester is, this semester I had a first-gen med student panel because I just felt like there weren't as many resources for master's students who want to go on to more school. And then that's got me thinking about facilitating more conversations about diversity next semester. I'm thinking specifically focusing on the LGBT populations. I feel like like with homophobia and transphobia being a huge issue, I think we need to talk about how we can better increase diversity and how we can representation might go about in different areas. And again, I'll talk about that later, but just a sneak peek of some of my plans for next semester, and I hope to have the opportunity to serve y'all again. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions in person? Off we go.
Exactly, are you getting?
That's a good question. So just to clarify, you're asking how I communicate it out to people. So I've been sending it out on the listserv. I've been posting it on the GSE Instagram and Facebook. And then also there's a Instagram handle that SPS uses called Brown_Masters, and they've been promoting it on their Instagram as well. And communication across all master's programs is a huge issue for sure. And I'm guessing that the message hasn't been reaching as many people as it should be. And so I would definitely want to work on that next semester.
Any questions online? No. Right, Ray, if you can vacate the room. Democracy time. Vote for Ray, Master's Chair in the room. Please put your hands in the air. Anybody who's abstaining from the vote, against Ray, sorry, please put your hand in the air. Abstaining from the vote, please put your hand in the air. Rachel is returned as Master's or Chair of Master's Advocacy. The next one up is Chair of Communications. So Varney has signed up. Anybody in the room who would like to put themselves forward for Chair of Comms? Anybody online? Oh, it's just for her. Looking to return. Off you go.
Very well. As Joe just mentioned, this is Fatima. I am the current communication chair, aka who sends all the annoying emails and keep badging all of you guys. And I'm ready for it again. So I want to start by saying thank you. It has been an amazing experience in the past 3 months, serving as a communication chair, communicating with everyone. And I'm going to keep it very short. I'm going to say 2 reasons you should vote for me. First, I love my position. I love communication. I think communication, specifically clear and timely communication, is important for any organization to succeed. And I love that of being part of that communication process. I like communicating with people. I know it sounds weird, but I do have 0 unread emails in my email. I try to answer all the questions and connect with people as soon as I can. And I am passionate about this weirdly, which makes me my second point. I'm really good at what I do. I hope I have been doing a good job as a communication chair. I want to keep it up, badger all of you guys with information. I'm very assertive. I have been taking part of a various GSC initiative that is current and to be GSC initiative. We have good news on the hygiene front and all others that I will report to in a bit. But I think 1, because I love my job, and 2, because I'm good at it, you should vote for me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Any questions?
Talking about being assertive. Any questions for comms in the room? Any questions for comms online? Moving fast. Departmental reps, if you're voting for Farha to return as Chair of Communications, put your hand in the air. It's a Belarusian and Russian level of victory. So anyone that's opposing? I'll stop democracy. Same for voting against. Right, Ramisa, Farha, got your eye right. Farha is returned. And then we go on to Tech Chair. Oh. Well done! Return, dominant and intimidating. So the final one is Tech Chair. At present, Bill has signed up for Tech Chair. Is there anybody in the room who would like to run for Chair of Tech? It's just maintaining a website and a listserv is what it is. I understand. Now let's explain what it is.
Okay, the tech chair is kind of a fun chair. You get to do anything you want on the board. You have a free, no. You get to basically advocate for whatever you want to do, but at the same time, you get to manage the meeting tech, anything like what you see me running around doing here. So like the microphones and the listserv. So whenever you get mad at a listserv and you're like, I can't sign up, you're emailing me. And I'm being like, I am sorry, it's an old system. I'm trying my best. But yeah, other than that, like it's definitely if you like computers, but don't have a CS degree, which is me, you're definitely qualified for this role. So yeah, feel free to run for it if you want. And I will also be happy to help you like mentor and like you won't just be expected to take all of this over in one day. Don't worry about that.
Anyone who wants to run for the position in person or online? If not, then we can come back with one last time after we, circle back with Mom's chair. Okay, so seeing that there's no one right now who wants to volunteer for it, that's
wait,
fine.
I have
We do have one person?
Conchita on Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
for nominations.
Oh, for nominations. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, no worries.
No worries, okay.
Are you gonna turn on your video, please?
Sure, 1 second.
And then apart from Conchita, is there anyone else who wants to run for Nom's chair? Muskan, I see your hand up. Anyone else? Going one last time for Nom's chair. Okay, so I guess Muskan, since you're in person, maybe you can start us off again with your pitch for why you want to run for nominations chair, and then we can turn to our candidate online for the nominations chair. Yeah. Again.
We've got a few people on the line.
Hey guys, my name is Muskan Patel and I'm a master's in computer science student here at Brown. I'm currently the computer science rep for GSC and applying for share of nominations because I want to be as involved with the GSC as possible, and I have 2 years to do that. And I think that's quite a lot of time, and that's why I have been trying my best to become part of this student council as possible. And I think you've already heard about the things I've done by now. And I hope you vote for me. And I hope I do get as much involved as possible with the GSC as I want to. But as the chair of nominations, I wasn't really prepared for the role, but I wanted to apply for it since no one was applying for it. And clearly, I'm too excited to be a part of the GSC, and I hope you understand my excitement. And I'm just blabbing now, but thank you so much.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to Conchita, who's on Zoom.
Hi, sorry.
We can hear you. You're all set to go.
Okay, should I start?
Yep.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Conchita. I go by King. I'm a first year physics PhD student. I did my master at Brown, so I've been involved in GSC for quite a while. I've been in nominations committee for 1.5 years, so I know how it works. I've been working with Teresa in the past year. So I know I have experiences with the groups that apply to be recognized by GSC, how we find a representative for any school committees, or how we select the commencement speakers. I want to run because I do have some experience and I want to get involved and help GSC as much as I can. I also really organized, which I think it's like a good quality to be a chair of nominations. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the candidates in the room? Okay. I'll wait for a second, Judge, because I'm terrible at Zoom. So, okay, so if you can send outside for 1 second when you go to the selection. There we go. Right, okay. So the first position that we're going to be asking for is if you're going to be voting for Muskan and then Conchita. So if you're voting for candidate number 1, Muskan, please put your hand in the air now. Same online. Please raise your hand on the Zumo so we can count it. And then if you are voting for Conchita, the second candidate. Is there anyone that is voting against either of our candidates or abstaining? Very Russian approach to not. Very Russian, yes. Good plan. Okay, if that's the case, then it is Conchita is the winner. Don't bring them in. So, hold on.
Here, somewhere.
Conchita, congratulations, you're the winner. Unfortunately, Muskan, you have been this one. We return finally to the technology chair. Is there anybody in the room that would like to run for the technology chair? How do you get $1,000 a semester? You know how a computer works? There's no competition.
No.
Okay. Right, again, back out the room, we personally, you are committed to the GST. You are committed to the GST. We know this. Must go to sleep. Just leave. Just leave. Right. Are we voting for Muskan as the technology? Excellent managed democracy. Well done, everybody. Anyone opposing this?
We didn't get a count.
Got a count. It was 35. Unanimous. 75,000 people just voted in 1 minute. It was 31. Fantastic. So, now for a bit of an emotional moment. So we've got 3 people leaving the executive board. Inish, Cyan over there, as well as Terasa. I've worked with them for over 3 years, and good God, when I do say that they have put their heart and soul into the GST, stop looking at those things. They've done fantastic work. They have advocated, they have turned up. They have worked, we worked on average for 75 cents an hour this semester and last. And Beanish and I were both there when there was no honorarium or award as well. They are going to be such a huge loss to the entire community, even though they are not leaving or dead. They're just not going to be part of the exec, and they've done fantastic work, and they're going to leave a huge hole. Oh, Mel as well is also part of it. I just forgot because they're sitting right next to me. It's ridiculous how much they all work towards all of it. So it's going to be a huge step up forward. And for the people who are new members that are joining the exec, this Friday at 12 at midday, we're having our monthly meeting with the graduate school. Please check that you're available because we'd like to introduce you to the deans of the graduate school. If you're not, that's fine, but try and make time. And when I say you've got some big boots to fill, it should intimidate you because it's intimidating. The work that these lot have done. They've done fantastic stuff. Now back to the normal meeting. Thank you. So, a lot. It's 10 past 8. Not that much. We're gonna blast it. This is going to be some great quick stuff. So, as always, you as departmental reps are playing a crucial role between us, the GSC executive, as well as the wider populations in your body. As we've sort of spoken to throughout the semester, the graduate school is trying to tighten its control over finances. However, the emergency funding that it still remains as part of the graduate school is still there under 3 separate criteria: the EGAP funding, the meal credits, and the short-term loan. The information will always be posted in every single PDFs, as well as our minutes. Please make sure everyone in your department knows about this, so nobody has got to face any financial hardships. That leads us on to the fact that we are reviewing the EGAP and conference fund with the graduate school, namely that in the fact of that the EGAP is currently being placed at only one time in your academic career. We're pushing back on that hard. The graduate school, especially Maria Suarez, Dean Maria Suarez, has sat there and said that she understands that this is not the case, it shouldn't be the case. So we're going to make sure that the language changes and make sure the application process changes, so that people can continually apply if they are in that position. This also goes to the conference fund as well, that the 650 is no longer fit for purpose. It was 5 years ago, it no longer is, so we're leading a review into increasing it to match our IDP peers across the university. So we'll be meeting with the graduate school if I discuss this. So the information is forthcoming, but what we're doing is on Friday with the monthly meeting we have with the deans. We brought this up in November. We just want to give them time to see where we're at with it. Then the next post that is the new provost is to be announced soon. I was on the interview committee with them. This is why we don't report things. We'll be seeing, but we'll be ensured to make sure that the Graduate Student Council retains its position of having bi-semesterly meetings with them as well, to make sure we're well past it. And in particular, if there are listening sessions or if there are like community engagement between the new provosts, they come in, make sure you are there. Like turn up or shut up, sort of thing. Like the new provost will take a very new role, especially as Brown expands. We've got to make sure we're there. Next one is nominations to Brown Corporation. Yep, as I said in my nomination speech, massaging of democracy. In the next election that we have for the representative who is new alumni relations on the Brown Corporation, it looks to be 3 or 4 members are going to be PhDs. This is the first time it's ever happened. The last 3 corporation members have been masters or specific masters or medical students. If you have got your transitional masters from Brown, you are entitled to vote. I would heavily suggest that you encourage everyone here that's graduated from Brown to make sure this election is voted for. The corporation controls the endowment. Whoever controls the endowment controls where the university is going, and especially as we're expanding, this is time to make sure that we actually participate. And then for the next semester, we're going to be questioning the ideas of space at the university. We're on it with relevant deans, but we're going to keep on pushing. Yeah.
For the nominations for the Brown Corporation, is there a link or email that we send out for the election?
So it will come out in the next couple of months, in the next month or so, and I'll make sure that it's put back on the listserv as well, because it's a really important election. So the question was about, has it been announced yet? No, so we meet with the corporation next week, we get the official slate. And then from the slate, then it'll go forward to the 5 people that come to the nominations for the next year. So when we have the election, it'll be publicized, and I'll make sure that it's publicized throughout the graduate community, so anyone with the transitional masters can vote as well. Another alumni trustee is 2 to 3 years, whereas normal trustees are 5 to 10. So it's designed to be more representative on your proximity. 2 or 3 at one time. Because it is time out of your career. But we've had 3 or 4 exceptions from PhDs that the corporations. Yeah. This is excellent. So once you know, it's not even a certain amount of years, you just need to graduate a grant. That's it. What happens is that the alumni network emails you, and anybody that, if you think you'd be a good trustee, you put yourself forward, or if your friends sit there and think you'd be a good trustee, they put you forward. Then you get interviewed by about 10 people on campus, and we ask certain questions. Top tip, do not copy and paste the application. It's very obvious when you've just gone to your friends, don't copy and paste it. But it's every year, and there will always be at least 1 or 2 of the representatives from the wider student body. So the more PhDs that do it, brilliant as far as I'm concerned.
And they already sent out an email about it. So
Yeah.
and today was the deadline actually to submit nominations. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's done.
If you
Emails.
do that, transitional masters or your PhD got an offer, would have received an email about it. Yeah, it's not something you have to.
Yeah, those 17 emails you make up to, read them.
Yeah.
Next one, we go on to nomination. Anything for nomination? Round of applause for Teresa Chambers, though, for serving as non-chair. That's the news, that's the news. Treasury.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly review the amount of funding this semester. So 3 main things we will do this semester is conference travel fund. This semester was raised to 300 from 150, and we distributed different. It's up to 300. We like total amount of 24,000 to 79 applicants. And then internal event we only had 4 requests. It's up to $400. And recognized groups, 5 recognized groups received the funding of 500. So that's the amount for this semester. For the next semester, we actually know what our budget is yet. We're gonna know in the beginning of the semester. So hopefully we can allow more funding for the conference travel fund, especially. But it will be clear in the beginning of next semester. That's pretty much it.
Question?
Some people think that 500, whatever it is, was not enough. Considering so I'm just wondering if that's a consideration. So we just actually increased it from 250 to 300. So it was 254 for a while, I guess, for 3 years. Yeah. So I think our goal would be
to maybe give the full amount to more good students, which requires more funding. So how it works is you apply and then there's a scoring system, and some students, depending on how much you request, some students get what they request. It can be 300 and less. And sometimes we give the full amount, sometimes we give slightly less. So of course, ideally, if we have funding, we would probably try to distribute $300 to everyone who is requesting it. Yeah, as opposed to raising the number. Because I think it's, I mean, maybe you can add something, but I think it's an option at this point, right?
Yeah, and so the 250 to 300 is over a 20% increase, which goes over inflation. And then also because I said the budget, and we went from 13,000 to 18,000, and we actually overspent by 2,000. We make sure that these 18 people are funded in some position. But when we went to a meeting with our peers at IB Plus, we were very much made aware of how much we don't get. That even though technically there's $5,000 per graduate student for travel throughout Brown in the year, the conference fund is $650. The rest is through incremental parts you have to jump through a lot of hoops for. So that's what we are doing with the review of the conference fund, is to one, bring that 650 up to at least hopefully 1,000, but then also to make it that it's not just international travel fund, it's not just JCAUSE, to make it more applicable, because it's also the difference that the conference fund that we have is it comes from all of our pockets, that $40 we pay a semester, and then it's Sophia has to sit there and wade through 150 applications and adjudicate for. We're students, we're not sitting there and going, like, this isn't our job, we're just trying to give more money back to the community. So it's something we're going to keep pushing for. But the great thing is that the more people that apply for this, the more pressure we put on the grad school. So it's about making sure people disseminate this knowledge to make sure that's that excellent.
Just very quickly, we're also trying to advocate for freeing up more money from other areas that we pay for. So like the funding that we get, or whether it's like social events, or wherever we can get more funding from the grad school, so we can free up more money for conference travel. That's also another strategy that we're trying to utilize to increase the overall funding for conferences, because we realize that this is an important part of professional development as well. And yeah, that's been a priority for us to advocate for as well. So, yeah.
Another clarifying question. The money that you get from the student activities fee, you all take GSE take half or is it entire?
40. 40 semester is the GSC, the rest goes to gym. The gym, not gym, the gym, like the Nelson. Yeah, so this was the first semester in 2.5 years that it increased up to 40 rather than 30.
Yeah.
So that's where this $40 has come from, and that's what we've spent every dollar of it in giving back. In terms of, we've gone through 80 applications, 6 recognized groups, we've gone through it all.
In the beginning of each semester, we work for the budget basically, and the only way, so the way we distribute money. So if we want to increase the conference travel fund, you can definitely advocate for that. In this case, you might spend slightly less on, let's say, social, right, and other things. So that's always like a tricky balance. But it's this conversation will have again in the next semester, and we can have a direct impact.
Any more for any more?
Cool. Social time. You guys already heard from us. We don't have too much to say, but we'll recap the semester. We had 800 plus people at our welcome back. A lot of them were actually med students, but we ended up taking them down for $5,000 to retroactively cover costs of that social. So that was really nice. We had a great turnout at the social and then most recent winter formal this past weekend. Hope you guys came. we had 525 people show up for that. So that was really great. We hope everyone had fun. We're glad we got reelected because we've already got the ball rolling for the spring welcome back party. So look out for information on that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Sweet.
let us know if you have any suggestions, thoughts, or want to join the social committee. We're always looking for more help.
Which started from together happening on. Excellent work. When I say these two have done a fantastic job in handling with the nightmare that is Brown, it goes beyond relief. And also Sophia has also done an excellent job at pretending she understands.
Oh, wait, I have one thing to say. Also, we're trying to push the grad school to give us money for these events so that we can try to make every single event free. So we are fighting for that.
Next, we go to student life. As I said, there isn't a conference, so it's me. So we have voted for our distinguished speaker series. There is a link in the minutes. We're going to be having Dr. Yusuf Salam come and speak at the university on Zoom on December 14th at 6 p.m. There will be food and a book giveaway beforehand. Information is going to be forthcoming. However, this is going to be Zoom oriented. This is because we decided to transition to an online event to make sure we got a better caliber of speaker, but you'll be able to have a conversation and ask questions to Dr. Salam Yusuf afterwards. Any questions on the distinguished speaker series? Ooh. Okay. So this semester, Abdullah led two socials. He led it in the Hispanic Heritage Night, which had over 250 guests, and the Thanksgiving Trivia, which had over 150. Applause, and the GSL updates. When I say that he has done the Lord's work in making this less of a cave, it is true. He has made sure that we have got a system in which you can access in terms of booking it. However, the responsibility is on the person booking it to clean it. They're going to make sure this is all signed up for, and there's guidelines for use as well. And then in his advocacy work as well, this entire semester, he's been meeting almost bi-weekly with the leaders of CAPS to make sure that we have better representation at CAPS. And he's also been making sure that there is a food security need through the pantry, which is here as well. Make sure that people in your department know about the pantry, they know about the resources that are on offer. Over to Master.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, would you mind scrolling? Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a Master Student Experience Survey going out. Last year, I just had a meeting with SPS leadership today, and they told me last year we had about a 30 to 40% response rate. So if y'all could please tell the master students at your respective departments to fill this out, because the responses to this are very, very important as we try and push for new key advocacy points. For example, as I mentioned earlier, the questions on food insecurity and grad student parents, especially would like to hear people where those apply, just so we can have the data to back up anything we ask from the graduate school. And then moving on, semester recap, as I mentioned earlier, I threw 3 social events. The biggest one was the PBD Beer Garden. And then pumpkin painting had about 75 people. Unfortunately, not enough pumpkins. Again, my bad. Some last minute product changes and stuff being out of stock. We were only able to get about 30. And then I had a game night last month, which had about 25 people. And then some initiatives they did, first gen med student panel, and then the Be Well part with sexual health / health promotion supplies, which is to my left, right there. It just has condoms, it has dental dams, it has Play-Doh, coloring books, colored pencils. So feel free to take whatever you want. It will be restocked by Be Well, just whenever the supplies are running low. So, and then for next semester,
Who's collecting the supply running low? Is there a way we can contact you, or
sorry,
for the supply running low, do we contact you, or someone is going to look at that periodically?
Oh, yeah, contact me if you notice the supplies are running low. The master's advocacy email. Or if you email any one of us, then they'll forward it to me. Okay, plans for next semester. I want to continue to work on supporting all grad student parents. This, not just from masters, even though my position is master's advocacy. And then developing pre-orientation resources for master's students. There's been some ongoing conversations about that, and they're just trying to put or starting to put some stuff together right now. Then there are going to be professional development funds for master's students. They're trying to create some infrastructure there because there's no staff member that is available to handle processing applications for that right now, because everyone is apparently so swamped. So that's something that I'm going to be pressing them on to make sure will be available for next fall. And then I have a few social event ideas, some egg painting or egg hunt type events. So we have more family friendly stuff. And then I'll do another board game night, and then I'll probably do some sort of happy hour type event at the very end of the year. So just a little sneak peek. And then I want to do some panels to talk about some issues with diversity and representation in multiple areas. I'm thinking medicine in industry and academia. If any of you have suggestions, it doesn't have to be just LGBT. It's just what I was thinking. So please let me know. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. So last time the swag was not here, and it has been delivered. So if after the meeting you would like some swag as reps, you get first dibs. We have stickers, notepads. Okay. She's going to do show and tell for me. And the bottle opener keychains. They're all very cool. So these are great.
Reed has questions.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I know Ray already knows. I'm Irene. I'm from the graduate student council of the School of Health, and he's also the School of Health. One of our questions is about student learning active for undergrad for students who are undergrad and FPH program. I already have talked to the administration about this. Also, with the grad school, and they say to us it's up to the GSD to give us access or approve that, and we rely on the GSD by students with in the undergrad / FPH program. Also, just as the background, and the fact that the other departments who have 5-year programs, what they do is the first 4 years, they're classified as undergrads, and they take their master's on the 5th year. The School of Public Health, the setup is students are considered undergrads 1st to 4th year, and master students from 4th year to their 5th year. So technically, they're graduate students while they're in their 4th year / MPH master's year. So yeah, so
yeah, it's been
going back and forth about who can give us approval.
So this is a really important question, and Ray brought it up to us 2 months ago. So just to clarify for people online, it's about asking about access to the grad student lounge in the Rockefeller Library for undergraduates who are transitioning into masters. The question that we need to work out, and we're still waiting to work it out because perhaps it's not working the space, is where are they matriculated? Because the difficulty is that the graduate student lounge at the Rockefeller Library is used by the entire of the graduate population. Even though we're 3,000 of us, it's the only space we have. As an undergraduate who's taking graduate level classes, you're an undergraduate. So it depends about where they're matriculated. So we're still trying to work out where these students are matriculated, because it also comes then down to the dues, because if it's the case that they're an undergraduate that are taking graduate classes, but the School of Public Health has classified them as a graduate, by all intents and purposes, they're an undergraduate because the fees they pay per semester go to the undergraduate council. Whereas the money that went back into that council, it came from the advocacy of the Graduate Student Council, and it's not just the School of Public Health. So what we're going to do over winter break is we're going to get a list of these people, and we're going to work out who's a 5th year master, who's a 3rd year taking. Fantastic, shoot it over, because we're going to work it out, because the second that they're matriculated into the graduate school and that they are paying our dues, they're in. But the difficulty with the slowdown that we've been going over is because the fact that Brown is undergraduate focused. As we know, like they are, it's undergrads everywhere that we have to husband our space. But we want to make sure that if it's the case that someone is in their 4th year but are matriculated as undergraduate, we get it. Like we get it, it's not fair because like in that department, it's that, but then you've got to think about the 52 other departments in that space as well. So what we'll do is we'll connect after this meeting, we'll get that list, we'll go through it piecemeal, and we'll work it out, because if they're paying the dues to the GSC, they're in. It's as simple as that.
So we've actually reached out to our SPH administration regarding that, because the way they are classified in our program, in our school, is that they're master's students, but in the bigger Brown community, they're classified as undergraduates, which is where the confusion and all this,
And this is what we need to be working on, because Brown is expanding its professional master's programs at a huge rate. So it's something that I want to make sure that we're clear on as we expand in the next year, to make sure that we know. I want to know when, maybe because I want the money to make sure Sophia happy. But it's also about in terms of we need to know who we're advocating for what, because the difficulty is that like SPH as a master's program, it started 5 years ago, had a cohort of 7, and now it has a cohort of 20, 30, 40. It's proportionately a lot bigger. And the importance of the GSC is that it's not just the master's programs, it's also small PhD programs. And when it comes down to like resources, and when they're so rare on campus, we have to make sure that it is not flooded by people who've done their undergraduate program, and a transition, and are gaining the steps, and we need to make sure that we're putting the pressure on. So we're going to connect with your council, so I spoke to Dean on Tuesday, lovely woman, and we're going to work it out, because it's an important thing to be working out, especially not just as yours, but also like crime is coming in, as well as the engineering masters as well. Yeah, like it's that whole thing of why would Brown have a code?
I guess my last question is, if the administration says that it's up to the GSC to decide what I've heard, can we rely in this committee that it will be approved?
We will know there'll be a new committee, but my 2 cents is it's where the money goes. If those people pay for the advocacy we do, they're in. But it's that whole thing of every $40 that people give, it's $40. It goes to food security, it goes to everything. Which is why we're going to be talking about it, and we'll have those conversations, and we'll be in conversation with the SPH GSE, because as soon as we streamline it, it's just that no one's thought to talk to the people who do the job. So we're going to sit there and we'll sort it out by February, no problem. Wonderful. Oh, we're on to, God, I thought we finished. No, we are on to international.
So there was a discussion being had via disability justice at the SPH about thanks. So there was a discussion at the disability justice at the SPH circling around mental health support and support for students. And there was a sentiment around that there was some pushback from professors, often pushing back about accommodations inappropriately. And I'm just wondering if there's any kind of current standing holding the professors accountable for that kind of.
Yeah, so the difficulty is it's about working under which division your department is. So SPH is under the graduate school. There are clear guidelines on graduate school in terms of what we do. The person that you need to talk to first and foremost is one, Dean Maria Suarez. And it's also recognizing one, that we are a resource to talk to and we will put you in contact. And this is any single department, even if it's a friend, you just send a goddamn email. Because when it has the GSC stuff on it, the deans at the grad school do respond. There is no grounds for it. In terms of this, it's a contract. So, because the reality is, in terms of grad school, is goddamn difficult. It is a difficult time, especially in your first year, especially in your final years. It is difficult. If your friends are having a difficulty and they are not being responded to by the DGS or the chair of the department, you need to make sure they are talking to CAPS, make sure that they come and talk to the deans, in particular Dean Suarez, Dean Vanessa Ryan, or even Talos himself. If there is an issue in these people getting access, make sure you CC or BCC any one of the executive members, because it's happened this semester that I've seen that people have not got response. I will go to the department, I will go to their rooms and go, have you spoken to this person? Because especially when there is physical policy by the graduate school, the difficulty is the decentralization of Brown is that departments often feel they can just get on with it in their own way. However, when it comes down to such an important issue of mental health, this also goes down to sexual representation, gender identity, race, or creed. If that is impaired, you go to the graduate school. You are not stepping on anyone's toes. You are doing what you are entitled to. You have that conversation. If you want someone from the GSC to be there, you can ask us. You can also sit there and talk to the union as well. That's what it's for.
Also, at one of our previous meetings, we had the new Assistant Director for Student Accessibility Services, Desiree, come, and she's super passionate about these issues as well, so they can go directly to her office and talk to her, and she can help them figure out a solution as well. Yeah.
Can I get your email so I can? Can I get my email so I can actually email all the people?
Yeah, we can put the email on this email.
Yeah, this underscore black.
I was just going to say that the School of Professional Studies is a new thing. It's kind of unclear exactly what they do from an external perspective, but internally, there's a few things have moved over from the graduate school to SDS, and one of those is for master's students specifically. If you're experiencing this issue, you can email Alicia_LaPaula at brown.edu. She's the Dean of Student Affairs, I believe, for the School of Professional Studies. So if you're a master's student specifically, again, you can email her, and we can put that email in the minutes and everything.
I have his email, so we'll email all the information. And if there's like specific concerns that you have, or what is the exact pushback they did, what are some of the issue areas where the professors are pushing back, inform us so we can, when we're in these rooms and in these meetings, we can advocate for that. So any information you have, talk to us afterwards, then we'd be happy to help.
Next, international. Stephanie is going to the big world, signing was to life, and now international. Huge loss as he sells his soul to Amazon. Hello, everyone. Yeah, giving you a recap of what happened this semester. We initially through International Student Mixer, around 110 people showed up, and it went very chaotic at the end, and it was amazing. Which I think people expected Friendsgiving to be like, because everyone could play their music at the first event. Friendsgiving was supposed to be kind of like a mellow event, but people like came expecting like Bollywood music and stuff. That's me, I guess. But 70 people still showed up, and food from which is not pizza, and drinks which are not beer. People really like that. I really like the suggestions. And people suggested interesting food options for the events, including boba, which was interesting for me. But yeah, had tons of fun. We had a good increase with like a student turnout at international events this semester, particularly, but yeah, that's mostly it from my side. I hope you guys make friends at the social side too, but yeah. Fantastic, and what really, Simon has been on for two and a half years. He's been on. He's an excellent dog. This is the whole issue of being old, is I forget everything. So we're going to move on now to comms. We've got a hefty list from comms. Off we go.
So first, some wins on hygiene product. We just met with the facilities and they finally agreed to put in a budget for having hygiene or menstrual product availability in every single gendered and non-gendered bathroom at Brown University campuses. So that was the first they said in specific site. So we're very excited that now hopefully the product will be available everywhere. They're trying to put in an application by February, so they're going to start implementing it in the summer. I might reach out to you guys to help with the application process for the increasing budget on like 1 or 2 line summary or an introduction of why we need product, which is very, even if it's like we need hygiene product in the restroom, they still want us to write something up. But hopefully fall 2023, we'll see all gendered and non-gendered bathroom having hygiene products. I also brought up that the quality of these hygiene products available, like tampons, are not good. That was brought up in the last PSC meeting. So they will send us the link of the product they are currently giving out, or at least that they are currently having from the supplier. So I'll share that information with you guys, and then we'll just make sure that the quality is good and sustainable. Second, on transportation. So I think I asked all of you last time, there are a few transportation issues, and Joe talked about it also already on the transportation. So we are, there are a few transportation issues that we're very concerned about. First being the shuttle frequency or grad student who don't have classes from 9 to 5. Other thing being the parking fee is very difficult or very high for graduate students compared to staffs. Another issue we had was that the security, even walking around the campus, parking your car without getting hit is a very liability issues. Or my car personally got hit in their street 3 times and then hit and run. So we're trying to work on these issues as well as getting people who are commuting from Boston or master's students who are commuting from Boston or other areas or going to other Massachusetts or Connecticut or and then transporting within those cities to get a VTA passes or WRTA passes for the students, like the RIPTA passes. So these are the 4 issues that we brought up, and then Joe talked with the university, and they're very supportive at most of them. There is a parking advisory committee that is formed, and then I'm trying to be part of it. And while I'm part of it, I'm going to bring up all those issues. If you have other things you can think of, I'm going to work with our now vice president, Josephine, on it to figure out if there are different things we can do to improve that. So if you think of any issue, just let me know, and then I'll update you how the meeting goes in January. And I think some of them would be easy ones, but we'll push forward to make sure that these are hard. The third thing I want to talk about is mandatory GSC rep survey. So a lot of time I hear that, I'm not a rep anymore, or the departments and students are not getting the messages at first because there's no rep. So if you are a rep and you're planning to be a rep for spring 2023, right? Yeah, spring 2023, answer the survey by December 20. Anyone who did not answer the survey, so it's like a 30-second survey. All it asks is your name, are you going to be a rep, and what your department is. 3 questions, 4 maybe I ask comments. So just answer the survey, and then you'll be all set. If you don't answer the survey before you leave, just let me know that, hey, I'm here. I will be here next semester. I'll write your name, and you'll be fine. But this is a way to figure out the department that have a rep currently that are current. We can wease out people who are in our listserv but are not a rep or graduated earlier. And we can kind of connect with all the department that doesn't have it, that don't have a rep, and we can get a rep from them. So the information get across all the graduate student bodies, not just the one tribe or are on our radar. And that brings me to, I'm going to just move on to the 11.5 GS listserv submission. So I am going to send out an email tomorrow in GS Notice saying, hey, if you get this email, you are subscribed to GS Notice out. I'm going to send all of the reps another email asking your students to share that, hey, there was an email that was sent out in GS Notice.
Are you subscribed to it? GS Notice L is the way we get a lot of our event announcement. And if you did not get that email from the GS Notice, you will have a step to subscribe to the listserv. I think a lot of students are not subscribed to the listserv, and that is the way we communicate. I'm seeing a lot of confusing pieces. I have questions. Is it making sense? So we have, whenever we send any communication, right? So we send it to the GS Notice L, which is the listserv for all the graduate students. Somehow, a lot of students are unsubscribed to the list or are not on the listserv, and they're not getting the event. For example, the Aurora Ball event or the travel funding event, travel funding that we sent out, a lot of students did not get the email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email to the listserv and ask you, the department rep, because you will have the current students listserv, I'm hoping, the way you send out the minutes. So I'll ask you to send a minute to all your students, or just an email to all the students saying, hey, if you didn't get a listserv, if you have unsubscribed, this is how to subscribe if you're interested. Raise your hand if that makes sense.
Sorry, can I ask something?
About that, so there is a tab on our website which is called mailing lists. Like if you go to the homepage on your right, you're going to see it says mailing list. If you click on that, it has instructions on how to join the listservs. So if you're going to send those emails out to your departments, like just link that and tell them, like, if you're not subscribed, this is instructions on how to do so, and making it clear that it's different from the GSBB, which is like the buy, sell, lost cats, whatever. The GS Notice is the one that everyone should be on.
Yes, that's how you know when there's money to spend around from the GSC or good events or career events. All right, thank you, Mel. And then I'm going to move to the implicit bias that I just missed. So School of Professional Health, thank you, reached out to us by mistake, but that turned out to be a blessing in disguise because they are offering a lot of implicit bias trainings for both students and faculties. I have listed the contact information for Richard, who is offering these classes. So one of the homework I'm going to give you guys, if you have a DIA from your department, contact them and then tell them this is available as an implicit bias classes, as well as navigating different microaggression, brave space, understand transgender and gender non-conforming communities. So these are all online or in-person classes available through School of Public Health, and it's open to anyone whose department is interested. So just email them out and then get that information. Last but not the least, so one of the other things we're trying to do is make communication easier. So thanks to the inspiration from the public affairs GSU reps Anna and Shahum, probably online right now. So what they do is they make a poster of all the information and then send it out like at a glance. So we are going to do something like that for our agenda. So next time I send out a minute, it will be a minute as well as a poster, a PDF of just a highlight of information. So send both of them out when you send out to your student group. And then I'm collaborating with our tech chair, Mel here, to come up with one, that poster, and two, another resource list for a graduate student who Mel is going to talk about. Any questions? You have to sign up for the DIA. So you can email your departments if they're interested, or as a student, if you're interested to have that for the student, email to Richard, and then it will be good if the department buys in, because then they can enforce those training. But it's as easy as just reaching out to him. It's more of a group training workshop. Yes, the program specifically have to say, come give the training for us. Anything else on Zoom?
No, go to
Do we have any questions on Zoom? Okay. Then in that case, we're moving on to Tech Chair. Just have a couple things. So for the sake of, anyway, that's going to be it. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through all the results, but I wanted to thank everyone that filled out the accessibility survey that I sent out. That was super, super, super helpful. We got a lot of really great feedback from it. We listened. I summarized the results in a presentation, which is linked in the meeting notes. So if you want to look at the results that I have so far, please do. You'll see what your fellow peers are also thinking and what they would like to have. Do know that that the entire board knows of the results, and we're going to be working actively to implement those for both the meetings and as well as our events. So keep in touch for that in the future. And the form is going to remain open for the foreseeable future. So if you're sending these minutes out to your department, make sure to let them know that this is open to you as reps, but it's also open to students in general that want to participate in our events or in our meetings. To just fill it out, the link is going to be there. And of course, it's entirely anonymous, so they don't have to feel like we're going to track them down or anything. Now, another thing I did want to bring up today is this zine. So a wonderful group of undergrads in the Pathology to Power course, which is a public health course, created the zine, which basically details all of a summary of the disability resources that we have on campus for students. This is going to be, yes, you should applaud for that. They did a great job. You can access this link in the minutes as well. Feel free to share widely with your departments. It has a summary of resources for the disabled students and also for allies. So anyone that wants to help further disabled students as well. And finally, the resources poster, which I've been working on with Farha. As you can see, it's basically going to be a huge PDF, not huge, it's a one-page PDF poster with like the major resources available for grads, including, for example, like tests that you can get for COVID and masks, which is just upstairs. So if you're here today, the key office is open 24/7. So if you're interested in getting tests and masks, just go there on your way out. Everything is going to be clickable, so you'll be able to go to the links for any of these resources, as well as centers that are important on campus. And as we've been saying, like the Student Accessibility Service Office, CAPS, anything that you can possibly need. And something I'm particularly happy about, we also have an entire section for grad parents. So we've been hearing a lot of miscommunication on what resources are available for grad parents. So we have an entire section, and there's also a link to more information on Brown's page as well. This poster is going to be sent out with your next minutes. Please blast it absolutely everywhere. It is going to be, patience with me, but I'm making it screen reader accessible as well. So once you send it out, blind students as well should be able to read through them. So yeah, just make sure to share this widely. We've worked hard on it, and we're very, very proud to be able to offer this for students. And a final note that I did have, I've been working on adding captions to our meetings as one of the feedbacks I got from this accessibility survey, as well as other things. So as always, it's important to fill out that form to let us know if things are working or if they're not, so that we can keep improving them. But yeah, any questions? We're on Zoom. If not, thank you for having me as tech chair. I did want to say that, but enjoyed it.
And this is the final thing we're doing. Patience is a virtue that I do not have, and Mel has it in abundance. I have called them no less than 6 times this semester trying to work out how to send out a Google form. Yeah, they're going to be sorely missed. They've done a fantastic job, and as you can see, each position of the executive is not just our ministry, it's also everything we do as well. So again, a huge round of applause for Mel, please. So I was asked to bring up, first of all, at the open floor, the fact that tomorrow, the 8th, is the union's general body meeting. It is from 6:30, and it is a hybrid format. This is for everybody who is interested. The union is about to enter contract, advocated to make sure you do private surveys. Make sure you are there, otherwise you can. All of that is exceptional to sit there and go. Secondly, on top of that, we had a question from a member on the Zoom over building cleanliness, namely departmental cleanliness and the issue of working with facilities. Facilities does not work. This comes from mine and Sophia's department that still has asbestos. We have 17 broken windows in our department. Black mold as well. We don't have flushing toilets most of the day. This is not a GSE priority because unfortunately this is the decentralization. What it comes down to, the structure is when there's issues in your building about security, about access, about resources, department manager. This is why department managers are sent from up on high because they deal with facilities. Facilities are, and there is a clear way, they are not the most responsive, but this is the department managers know how to get it done. So it's about talking to them and logging it and logging it and logging it, which is not an effective thing. And we will push with it, but this is also something that you should bring up to your DGS, bringing it up to your chair of your department as well, because it's university-wide. It's a checkable.
If I can add in, there is a form that I can fill in for a facility to clean things up. I can link it in. They're usually very responsive that way because it's logged and they don't want to keep it open for too long because it goes under their book as why is this still on. So I can link it in the form to fill it in for any of the hygiene or cleanliness issues. As simple as I needed a hand wipes that is not there. I filled it in, hey, there's no hand wipe, was there next day. So just something like that. Just put it in the form. And as Joe said, simply the department manager with the form. What is it?
So your department manager is also known as your office manager. So it depends on department by department. So in every department, you should have your chair. Then you should also have your DGS, which is your director of graduate studies. Your department manager might also be your office manager or your head admin. So it's the person who is in charge of rooms, paper and stuff. Literally puts out fires left, right. Like they are and also make sure you get them a Christmas present or get them some sort of winter present. Because those people are the ones that get you your reimbursements. You need to write them, like it works. But it's a difficult thing because it's the whole bureaucracy around like that. So that's the clear way of doing it. And Farhad's going to put the information onto the notes. And if this continues through the semester, we'll bring it up. But yeah, that's it. Is there anything else for open floor? No. I have a motion to close the meeting. Seconded. Which is for. Against. Abstentions. You can get it. I feel like ex-presidents can vote. And I'd like to point out that even with the elections, we are 1 minute over time because I want to type shit. Well done for democracy. And all you members of the executive committee here for the information. There is nibbles, there are snacks, there are extra drinks. Hang around, socialize, or if you want. Take some swag, come and say hello. Stack your goddamn chair. Hang out, have some good times. See you later. Awesome. Okay.